Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're just going to give it a few more minutes to let more people join in before we get started. Appreciate your patience. Okay, I think we're going to get going. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. My name is Sarah Warsey, and I am the marketing manager at Sentia. Today, we are here with Cynet, a Gartner-recognized industry leader, to talk about proven ways to simplify cybersecurity, a subject that remains top of mind for many businesses, especially during these unique times. Speaking today, we have Andy Narayan, a senior sales executive with Sentia, and he will provide a brief overview of Sentia's history and our value add in the industry. We'll then hear from Royi Barnea, the head of channel sales at Cynet, who will take us through the current threat landscape and explain how the concept of autonomous breach protection using XDR solutions is making strides in the industry. Questions are absolutely welcome throughout the session. Please feel free to simply type them into the question box and they will be addressed at the end. We will then conclude the session with a brief live demonstration and a call to action. So with that said, I'd like to pass it over to Andy.
Thank you, Sarah. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today as we talk about cybersecurity. It is an important issue that is top of mind for most organizations. I see some familiar names along with some new folks. Welcome, everybody. For those of you that are not familiar with the Sentia name, here's a brief overview about us. Headquartered in Richmond Hill, Ontario, we're a global leader in delivering high-value solutions through excellence, innovation, and trust. Launched in 2008, we have since grown, now delivering high-value solutions in over 12 different countries worldwide. What really sets us apart is our unique ability to design, architect, deploy, and manage solutions that we sell. We specialize in advanced virtualizations, business continuity, networking, security, and hybrid IT. Our subject matter experts have a very deep and broad skill set that enables us to service a broad range of customers from Fortune 500 to very small shops. And they have an average of about 17 plus years of industry relevant experience. We have strategic partnerships with all of the industry leaders to help us deliver the high value solutions to our customers worldwide. If you'd like to learn more about our offerings, please feel free to reach out to me directly or visit our website at www.sentia.ca, and one of our dedicated account executives would be happy to assist. Speaking of strategic partnerships with industry leaders, joining us today is Royi Barnea from Cyanide. Over to you, Roy.
Thank you very much, Andy, and thank you everyone for joining and taking the time today. Pleasure to have you. So a little bit about us, Cynet, and usually I prefer starting before talking about the company, about the main topic we're here today, XDR, and explaining a little bit about the evolution of the endpoint space and security. As you all know, like other security vendors, we're mainly facing mouse in a cat chest here against the bad guys and the threats. And looking at the landscape of the evolution of the endpoint security space started years ago with AV, which I believe all of you know, an antivirus that was basically built up with database of known or signature detected computer viruses, something that was added all the time with every new virus that was went up. Couple of years later, the industry evaluated on the endpoint space from an AV to a next-gen AV solution that was a little bit more advanced and basically includes more features such as known weekly updates or close to the gaps on the AV side. But very fast, less than 2.5 years from that, the next-gen AV moved to the EPP, an endpoint protection. Basically understanding that today's signature-based doesn't really cut it, and adding more capabilities of protection, internet capabilities, or even capabilities of protecting the device controls, and many more features and capabilities. And very fast, that was the evaluation took us to the next-gen endpoint protection. We saw that signature-based is not enough and device control not enough. The attackers are becoming much more sophisticated, and we added AI and behavior capabilities as well. Recently, most common in the industry is the fifth evolution on the endpoint space, the EDR. Basically, an EDR is an endpoint detection and response, not only having the detection capabilities, but we did added some basic automation of remediation actions built in according to the type of the event that was defined by the endpoint space. And usually what we're hearing today is that that doesn't cut it a lot, and the industry is moving to the next generation, the extended EDR, XDR. And mainly, clients today are in a need to ask themselves, does their EDR today provide or endpoint solution, providing them a sufficient visibility and protection? And we're mainly seeing that all EDR vendors that are great on their space do include a next-gen AV, as we discussed in an EDR, some of them more advanced, some less. But if you compare that to what XDR is offering, or even Cynet, we're seeing that more features and capabilities of protection on that layer is required. In addition to the next-gen AV and EDR, today attacks are floating to the network. All those message chats as lateral movement, DNS tunneling, reconnaissance port scanning, and many more that we need to detect and remediate on. So the network detection is a very important key feature. We're seeing today that attackers are much more sophisticated and basically putting themselves in disguise as a user or even a process or behavior as an entity. So user and entity behavior analysis are a key feature today for advanced malwares, ransomwares, and many other methods of attack. Last and not least, even today, we need automation in a solution and having so small traps. The advanced technology in the industry today against mainly ransomware is deception, the honeypot technology, which is a key feature. In addition to that, clients today are asking themselves to evaluate if their endpoint posture is enough. Does the EDR provide automated playbooks that fully eliminate those threats? And we're seeing that main EDR vendors are mainly covering the file and the host pillar, which is great, less covering the user pillar or even the network as well. And even the built-in remediation actions are basic, not advanced, really do not cover all the needs that a flow of a remediation playbook must cover to protect against those threats. And you can easily see many examples over here that are needed today to address: blocking traffic, DNSs, changing IPs, resetting passwords, environment remediation for firewalls, proxies, active directories, and many more that EDR doesn't provide natively today as a built-in auto remediation. One of the biggest examples and the hot topic in the industry is ransomware. So you do see that XDR capabilities is much more advanced on a ransomware playbook. Killing a process, disabling a user, isolating a host, disable impact, blocking an RDP, and even disabling AD users as well is at least the basic and much more advanced capability of ransomware playbooks that is required today to address the persistency that ransomwares are offering today and providing. Another very important question, and we hear that a lot in our calls today: does EDR solutions provide today automated investigation and response action? Security is a key feature, having those visibility on them. EDR are basically mainly providing alert-based files and host remediation actions. Cynet XDR contains an incident view, a full understanding of visibility and the ability to correlate in wording what exactly is going on, and the investigation automatically correlates, so we'll have it by wording, very simple, and seeing it on our network on a full flow. This visibility will enable us to really define and understand what is going on, and remediate can be manually or automatically, and basically protect us end-to-end through all the indicators of compromise in the network. Last and not least, with all due respect to any technology, even that is our approach on Cynet, today having a great technology as a solution that can act manually or automatically is not enough. Human intervention is a must as part of an offering to protect today against those advanced threats and, of course, the most sophisticated attackers today. Some EDR vendors do have it on an additional fee or are using third-party companies to assist them as part of this offering today. Cynet, embedded as part of our offering, has a 24/7 proactive MDR that is included. That's part of our offering and our vision. We do believe that today human intervention is a must, and not all clients do have an ability or SOC services or MDR that covers them 24/7. We need those services to protect against detection, investigation, response, research reports that are required, sometimes even a full R report, and those expertise and their advice of team members and ad hoc expertise. Last and not least, we mentioned ransomwares as a huge topic in the industry. EDRs today do not include any type of deception technology, and it must be purchased through a third party, a different vendor. This, of course, requires a lot of investment in an installation, integration. Not all vendors do sync correlate to each other, and of course, manually operation day to day. One of the uniqueness of XDR vendors, and especially Cyanide, is our deception technology that is integrated out of the box and fully automated, creating on your network decoy files, shares, hosts, users, using those small traps that basically catch the eyes of ransomwares and puts them on a honeypot technology, not risking any real live production assets on your environment. So back to mainly what Cyanide is here for. So we covered a little bit about what is the endpoint space and what are the things that you need to take in consideration thinking about if your existing posture today cuts it or not. When we designed Cyanide, we are mainly addressed to some of the main pain points that we are seeing and having calls with many CISOs keeping our clients up at night. And I usually like to start on the need to reduce cyber operational efforts. And in this bullet point, I'm mainly referring to main two topics here. First of all, that today a couple of solutions doesn't cut it, and hopefully all of you at the end of this session will find Cyanide as a pre-integrated, a robust, consolidated platform can easily replace on your organization 2, 3, or even more solutions that you need to cover as part of your stack today. And mainly on the endpoint side, I didn't mention that on other bullets, is the increasement need we're seeing today due to many false positives. Some of our competition do not provide and some EDRs not. Mainly due to the fact they're lacking AI and user entity behavior analysis. I usually on my calls take a great example that most of the people know, PowerShell, which I believe you all know that PowerShell can easily be a legitimate good operation on the network or a bad one. And the only way to define if it's legitimate good or not is to basically understand who, what, when, where, and how on the networks. AI and UEBA capabilities are critical to understand and define that. Second, need for multiple cyber solutions. Part of the security stack is not only an endpoint space. We have many other vendors that are covering other solutions and layers that are critical. And of course, Cynet doesn't replace all of them. But it does replace a huge challenge that when having a couple of vendors integrated, even if they're best of breed, they natively do not sync, coordinate, and talk to each other. And this can provide a huge lack of visibility in real time. The capability of a correlation cross-network of an event, seeing and understanding all indicators of compromise, and God forbid if something bypassed your existing posture, penetrated your network, highly critical, very fast visibility and respond on it, and to define exactly where is that leakage point and the entry and how it's bypassed, and if anything still exists hitting on your network, God forbid, waiting to be exploited in the future. Last and not least, I touched base on that. We need today, as a security solution, especially an endpoint, not only to cover the file and the host pillar. The attackers are very advanced today. They're method expanding on the file and the host layer. They're using those messages that I mentioned before to advance to a user and network pillar. Highly critical to cover all those 4 fundamental pillars as part of an endpoint solution today to really address all the methods of attacks that are very advanced and we're seeing them day to day. We solve those pain points by being a pre-integrated XDR platform. XDR and extended EDR combines the next-gen AV, EDR, user and entity behavior analysis, network traffic analytics, even our deception. But what Cyanide is bringing different to the industry is the SIM capabilities embedded in the correlation of everything, and even SOAR, that is automation. The SIM correlates all the data in real time from everything the agent collects, and all the engines are correlated in real time. I'll touch base deeper on the next slide on that. And in addition, we touch base about the need today for 24/7 MDR. Of course, addressing those need of eyes on the glass for those fast operating ransomwares, or even those alerts that are operating 2 a.m. in the mornings, the bad guys not only working on business hours, and those teams of expertise. The main value the MDR team Cynet brings to the market, they will guide, be on the line with you, addition, and with the Sentia team, assist you, and will not leave you together with Sentia team until we resolve each event. Highly valuable offering and capability embedded. Last and not least, goes without saying the need to reduce today's cybersecurity budgets. We're all under this unfortunate pandemic, and of course, today we need to address much more environments to support our clients. Our clients are not only on-prem or data center. We're seeing them moving to a cloud, SaaS, virtual private cloud, even having a hybrid topology that combines a couple of those architectures. Cynet's approach is that all those environments fully need to be supported and an endpoint solution. So let's break it down a little bit about features and capabilities and what exactly are we bringing to the table. On the blue, the XDR is our prevention detection capabilities. Goes without saying that we have a great next-gen AV, which easily can replace every AV vendor there is in the industry, and we're part of Virus Total like the rest. EDR and user and entity behavior analysis, one of our biggest strengths and engines. By the way, we're extremely proud of the latest marketing recognition, which I'll touch base on the last slide, on our by Gartner, defining us a leader based on average rate on EDR and software testers as well. The user and entity behavior analysis, a big differentiator. Not all EDRs provide entity, and important to emphasize the differentiator. A user behavior, for example, can be all those activities of a user that is out of the ordinary, maybe accessing on a Sunday morning, or from China geolocation that is not part of your policy, or maybe a user trying to get to resources on application that is not part of the privileges is configured and allowed. In entity is a by far much more advanced capability. All those PowerShells, DLLs, or even processes running on your network. Application moving between different segments and VLANs that natively is not designed to do so. Or even an application trying to get out of your network through the firewall with an IP it's not configured. In most cases, such behavior or out of the ordinary behavior of an entity really can suggest that it's an attack or attacker in disguise. Extremely important to have it covered. Network traffic analytics, one of our biggest strengths is not only having those network detection capabilities, but even the ability with built-in remediation actions for network as well. And last and not least, from our direct competition, Cyanide is the only vendor today providing deception embedded. The decoys, the honeypots. Our decoy shares files hosting users using the honeypot methodology. We'll cover in a glimpse on that on the demo as well. On the left-hand side in green, you'll see our response on automation. It's great having detection capabilities, but remediation is important as well. We invested a lot in a very robust solution on visibility and automation. You can easily go fully automated with us, semi-pilot or manually. We enable you the ability to tailor-made or create a playbook in 10 or 15 seconds, which most EDR or endpoint solutions do not even have that ability, or even to do so requires a lot of configuration and expertise in the system to do so. Last and not least, the incident engine, the game changer in the industry, divided by a full description of the incident view and the full autonomous responder. I'll touch base deeper on that in the demo as we move forward. And in addition to the 24/7 MDR services I mentioned, being on the line with Sentia team guiding and assisting their clients, You can easily see the value of us assisting in whitelisting, fine-tuning, alerting, threat hunting, and in a case-to-case basis if needed, those teams of expertise can even create a full manual report, full IR report if needed, or any attack report. A little bit, because some of the audience here is technical, some specs are very important to understand. The agents that is installed on each endpoint by Cynet is a very slim and light one. It is between 10 to 12 megabytes, that is all. The agent at first is injected to the memory and in parallel downloaded to the disk. Being on memory, in addition to this, due to the fact that the 90% of modern attacks we're seeing addressing memory, enables us easily to reduce the attack surface and increase IT hygiene. Not only that, we are very slim and light on CPU usage, between 1 to 1.4 CPU usage on a regular stage, and we are limited up to 5% CPU usage on those milliseconds of a correlation or event. Comparing to most of the vendors, next-gen AVs, EDRs in the industry, we're nearly third on those specs, very slim and light as well. And we support various options of OSs, which are very important. We even do support old versions such as XP Server Spec 2 that we do see still some organizations in the industry having them, or even Windows Servers 2003 Server Spec 2 and above. All, of course, the 6 flavors of Linux and Unix and the latest 5.6 macOS environments as well. And I mentioned before our ability to be agile and really flexible on deployment. We can easily be deployed on an on-prem, on a SaaS environment, a virtual private cloud, or in hybrid, and we support various options of deployment. Can be a dispatcher that we created that operates like a worm, having the ability to deploy up to 5,000 endpoints in an hour. And not only that, the dispatcher scans your network, so every new asset that you'll add will easily detect, discovered, and deployed on. We support all RMM methods, MSI, GPO, group policy as well. So it's easy to deploy us, and the deployment very simple, smooth, and easy. In addition to that, a little bit marketing recognition and clientele, which is important for each vendor to address. So I mentioned, as you can see on the top, bottom left-hand side, the latest marketing recognition of us, on average rate being #1 of the EDR vendors and software testers. And you'll see us on many clienteles and many industries. Clients such as T-Mobile, Deutsche Telekom, which were deployed over 500,000 endpoints worldwide. Allianz Insurance, that is 400,000 endpoints and above, distributed over 208 branches. ING, our biggest financial, covering over 250,000 endpoints, and Boston Medical, our biggest health in the US, with over 110,000 endpoints. But the majority of our clients is not the ones we present over here. Our CIO and co-founders' vision is to be an affordable advanced endpoint solution that is a must today as an XDR to small, medium organization, not aiming to the high enterprise or large ones as well. And I would like to take a couple of minutes showing you a little bit about Cynet's environment, sharing a little bit of a demo, so you can really see how Cynet XDR operates. And I will share here a new screen of a radar that I hope everyone can see, which is Cynet's main dashboard of operation. This radar, as you can see, indicates we're scanning your environment 24/7, and of course divided by the 4 full fundamental pillars that we cover. The file pillar, the user pillar, the host pillar, and the network. So each alert by the pillar it is can easily define and explain which type of event it is. We even have a score in the middle, which is our score mechanism. The score mechanism is attached to a color, easily enables you to define what severity level of event we're now facing. For example, a critical with a 1,000 score severity alert would be colored in red. A 700 score in yellow would be for a high severity level. 500 in purple would be for medium. 300 in blue will be for low severity. And a green, an informative one, will be colored in green with a 100 score, indicating about an informative alert only. Not only that, you do have on the top left-hand side to look at all your alerts in total, or even navigate easily. Look which files had an alert on my network, which users, hosts, or networks. Even the ability on the bottom right-hand side to review which date alerts popped up today, this week, and this month. And when clicking on each and every one of them and navigating, you can easily see their status. If they're open or closed, did we handle them, or any additional action is required to attend as well. The main dashboard of operation that I just shows the radar screen is awesome, but to have some capabilities of a deeper view of each event and of course remediation capabilities, the second tab on the left-hand side, the alert page, really gives you full coverage over here. And first of all, we'll present in real time all your alerts on your network, from the latest to the recent in order, providing you, of course, the alerts, the name and the device, and has some very useful capabilities over here. For example, a drill down with the 3 arrows that will open an indicator pop-up with much more details about this alert, without, of course, the need to navigate and move your eyes to a different dashboard. Still, look at all your alerts on your environment in real time, but have much more insights and details as part of your investigation. Each alert on the top right-hand side has an action button. Click on that. From that specific alert, without the need to go to any action tab or settings tab, you have the ability to that specific alert to whitelist, analysis, engage with our SOC, send to sandboxing, perform any remediation actions manually, or even choose the built-in playbooks that are presented by us, or even tailor-made a specific playbook to that specific alert as well. And of course, the incident view, that which in a moment I'll cover as well, that will take you to a different dashboard, but will easily show you a full correlation of event, the incident view, and a full autonomous responder, how we operate. Just for this demo, because due to lack of time, I will not cover everything over here. And of course, you're more than happy to reach out to the Sentia team, and we'll be more than happy to schedule one-on-one meetings and a deeper demo for you. But a high level of understanding on some nice capabilities I would like to share is, first of all, that even if you configured manually, didn't go on automatically, basic auto remediations are performed by Cyanide, especially for critical and high severity alerts. Can be blocking a traffic, disabling a user, killing a process, isolating a host, and many more. This is mainly Cynade's way to address those fast operating ransomwares and malwares. So better being safe than sorry. A basic auto remediation, even if you forgot or chose manually and not fully automated with us, still will be performing. And I would like to take even a moment showing you great visibility capabilities. When looking at an alert, we need to learn a little bit more. So of course, in this demo environment, we ran a flow-fin attack, which I'm not going to cover now due to lack of time. But one example over here can give a little bit of glimpse of understanding. For example, starting with the file alert, we can easily see that in this environment, there was this user on this host running a Chrome updater executable. For the guys that need more tech deep insights, click on the 3 arrows to open an indicator window. And the most important thing is, first, a word correlation, providing you a full description of what happened. In this case, it was a detection engine that detected a malicious binary. There was an infected file, and this file was dumped to the disk. We'll provide you the host name, its IP, operation system, even the endpoint version and configuration, the exact date and time when Cyanide detected this event. The wording of the correlation presented over here as well. And scrolling below, you'll easily see that the first layer of detection was the AV, the exact location and password this file exists on your network. And by the way, you do have a shortcut to the path exactly over here, much more convenient operational wise, and even which type of malware we're addressing. In this case, a Trojan. On the right hand side, you'll see the entire process tree of this executable. And of course, when you scroll below, you'll see all the command by the attacker. But in my personal opinion, one of the biggest values of automation is below. Cyanide will automatically generate a hash, SHA, or signature. So from now onwards, this will be already added to our database, signature by us, and will be easily detected for any future references. And part of VirusTotal, as mentioned before, so you can always click on VT to automatically navigate and verify if that hash exists there or not. As mentioned, There's a lot of things and capabilities here to show as part of the demo, but lack of time, and of course, I encourage you to reach out to the Sentia team. So we won't cover each capabilities over here, but really we're showing a flow and a full understanding and correlation and identification on all those 4 pillars: the file, the user, the network, and the host. Another nice thing that I would like to take the time to show is the ability to generate those actions. So the action button on each alert enables you to whitelist manually. You can always engage with the Sentia team or MDR to help any assistance on whitelisting. They're here for you. The ability from a specific alert to engage with our SOC in a click of a button, and the Sentia team. Sending to sandboxing, verifying file. But visibility and detection capabilities are great, but it doesn't cut it. We need very strong capabilities and more advanced on remediation. We'll provide you remediation capabilities manually, for example, for a file, for a user, for a host, or build in automation. Even if you didn't configure automation with us, there will be still automated playbook presented to you and recommended, of course, according to each type of event. Some examples can be the actions you can perform for a file: delete it, quarantine, kill file credentials, and many more. For a user, enable or disable it, disconnect the user session, and mainly the most important, host, the ability from this console in a click of a button to shut it down, restart, disable Linux, run a command, pull a file, run a script, delete a service, disable a service, delete a scheduled task, disable it, isolate, unisolate, custom endpoint argument, clear them, and many, many more. And of course, as mentioned before, still, we would recommend, even if you didn't choose fully automation or defined manually as only, build-in auto remediation in a click of a button of a full playbook. And the playbook is already predefined, and you can easily see. And I'll take an example I mentioned before. The ability to tailor-make a playbook is very easy with us. Let's go for a second to the settings, the remediation tab, and look exactly on what is Cynet's ransomware playbook. When we click on edit, we can easily see that when there is a ransomware, and by the way, we can easily define it to be parallel sequential, Cynet, when detects any ransomware, will quarantine, isolate, show you the isolated status, and disable a local user. And in some cases, for some clients, that would be great, more than enough. But some cases, there are clients with a demand for much more richer in advance. They would prefer to kill the process and then to block the RDP. And of course, to show endpoints argument, and then after that, they would like to, let's say, power off the host. But the kill the process would prefer to be as a second stage or third. Drag, drop any action you want and save in less than 15 seconds. You now tailor-made and created any playbook, any scenario that will fit your organization's needs. Last thing that I want to cover on the alert page is the incident view, which in my personal opinion is a game changer in the industry. And at the end of the day, with all due respect to the great capabilities I just showed, all my clients are working and operating with the incident view. Clicking on the incident view opens a different dashboard, but providing a full automation and visibility. And I'll explain exactly what you're seeing over here. Although it's small, when I'll wave on it, it will be enlarged, so bear with me a second over here. When looking at an event, the incident view will provide us a full description, the impact, root cause, any remediation needed, or further action, a summary, and below the autonomous responder. And I'll take a minute to explain exactly what you're seeing over here, and this will really show the automation and value Cynet brings, especially designed for teams that are small on the manpower, don't have the expertise. For example, in this scenario, we created a scheduled task, even named it Fun Things. That's my SE, sense of humor, go figure. Cynet, it automatically detected this, that basically the root here was a living off the line binary execution running. So this is the malicious activity automatically generates the autonomous responder to come in place. The automatic steps are 3. In blue, the entire investigation process. In red are the findings, and of course, in green is the automation of remediation. And what exactly happened in this case? First of all, Cynet automatically is going to check sorry, in this case, if this malware executed any additional file. You can easily see that in this case, no malicious file was executed. So of course, we'll move to check if this malicious activity established any type of network connection. And then nothing happened over here. So the last phase and the most important one is to check if this malware executed any type of method. And it did. It created and generated a scheduled task on your network. And once that detected, we automatically will move to search the same task on all other endpoints or hosts on your environment. And it doesn't matter if it's an on-prem data center or cloud. You can easily see that Cynet did detect this task on additional 4 hosts. And to identify which one of them, just click on it. You'll easily see which host was it detected on. So the findings here are very simple. The root cause on this event is that it generated and created a scheduled task. So a remediation automatically comes in place. Cynet automatically deletes the task from the host. But in this scenario, there was an impact to 4 additional hosts. We will automatically delete the task from all those additional 4 hosts. And of course, we will always end up showing you the first infected host, which in this case is VMware number 1, as part of a flow of C attack. The valuable thing of this process that is easy to understand and visible, that the fully automation of the responder took Cynet only 58 seconds, A to Z fully automated time to resolution as well. And a deeper, of course, investigation can be done by looking at all the incident artifacts, clicking on each and every one of them, seeing all the details by the steps and the flows, or even the ability to look at them on a full forensic view. And that is exactly what I mentioned at the beginning. When you double click on an alert, be diverted to the full forensic view, see the exact timeline, and have the ability to look at everything that is connected to the host, all the artifacts that define why it's a good or bad event over here, and all the data that was correlated and gathered by Cynet's agent in real time and analyzed by all our engine to define the type, the severity level, attach a score, and by that score, the Odoo playbook will come in place. Of course, file monitoring capabilities, device control, and much more are embedded, but feel free to reach out to the Sentia team for a much deeper session and demo. And I would end up with showing one last thing that is extremely important in my personal opinion, the decoys, the honeypots. We're all today aware of ransomwares. And you'll easily see that between 5 to 7 minutes from implementation, Cynet will provide you a full bird's eye view and inventory visibility of your network. And I zoomed in to show you that in this demo environment, here's the domain controller. Easily, when showing the decoys, you can see that we generated randomly fake domain controllers and fake servers and many fake other virtual hosts as well, and put many, many decoys on them, which can easily be found when moving to the settings and deception tab, seeing which fake users we created, those small traps for those ransomwares, fake files, and you can manually add as many as you want, and even fake segments and network as well. In a high level, this is basically the main flow of the demo. And of course, there's much more capabilities, very robust and much more to show. Feel free, as mentioned, to reach out to the Sentia team for deeper one-on-ones.
Thank you, Roy. That was a great presentation and a lot of content. Just a reminder, everybody, our question tab is still open, so please feel free to post your questions there, and we will address them shortly. It's quite interesting that you mentioned the evolution of cybersecurity from an AV to an XDR. Like, I recently read a study done by Sophos where they interviewed a large chunk of organizations that were hit with ransomware. And interestingly, 74% reported that they were running the latest versions of AV. It just goes to show that having a robust solution on top of an AV is essential to having a secure security posture. I believe we have some questions now, Roy.
Yes, we
Any
do.
any update on ability to ingest non-Cynet provided tool logs?
So first of all, there's two ways to address that. That is a great question, by the way. So at the moment, we do not collect logs from third parties since the agent really covers a lot of them, but we do enable by API and syslog to export our logs. So if you're having any analysis tool or any SIM, by syslog or API can easily be ingested. Part of the company's roadmap in the future, planned for the second half of the year, since we have a very robust capabilities of SIM, is collecting from third parties those logs and be part of our offering and correlation capabilities of a SIM. For example, firewalls, email gateways, proxies, switches, routers, etc.
Perfect, thank you. Another question we have is, how do you license this solution?
Great question. So first of all, one of the uniqueness of Cynet is that we have only one license, one SKU. Everything in this presentation, all features, capabilities, and services, even the MDR included, is under one umbrella, one license, one SKU, everything included. We usually price, since we're installed on every endpoint or host, clients are installing us on a workstation, PC, laptop, host, and servers.
Perfect. I think that does make things easier from a budgeting standpoint. Just make sure that we can budget it properly. Another question we have is, do you track and log any changes to files or documents?
Yes, so first of all, that is a great question. Of course we do, and not only that, I covered that in a glimpse, but we didn't have the time to a deeper view of that. Full file monitoring. One of the great features is the ability to even generate a policy. So first of all, we can get alerts or even create any action. For example, we can define a file that is important or sensitive for the organization and get alerts on every time that someone is authorized or not authorized to access it, change it, delete it, open it, rename it, move it, etc.
Okay. And then there's a question from the audience asking, is an AV required on top of your solution?
So no, part of our capabilities are embedded our next-gen AV, which is a great one and can be replacing every next-gen AV there is in the industry. And I mentioned in the slides that we're part of Aristotle like the rest, but our approach is that we do enable ourselves coexisting with any third parties. We have very simple click of a button capability in the settings to enable us working side to side with another next-gen AV or AV vendor that there is. You can even define Cyanide as being only alert or rename or deleting only, and of course maintain that existing vendor that you're working with. In some cases, clients need to take in consideration that can be any effect on CPU usage, and the only thing they need in addition to configure is just whitelist Cyanide, not because that something will happen, but basically to avoid getting double alerts and a lot of noise, since we in most cases will define and detect an alert the same as the existing AV vendor will provide. They will just get a lot of noise and multiple alerts on each event.
Okay. The next question is, it's more related to privacy or data privacy. Does Cynet or Sentia have access to any data?
Great questions. That is an awesome one. So first of all, as a company and as an endpoint solution, of course, we are PCI, GDPR, HIPAA, and NIST compliance. As an agent installed, we see all the data, but everything is, and the technology we created is that we converted to a metadata. Since PII and regulation is something that we apply to and SOC 2 and many more, no data basically is collected or transferred out of the client's organization. All we need, even for the MDR, is a conversion of the metadata. And by the way, everything is stored in Canada or US, is not transferred out of those regions of North America. And the PsyOps team MDR, when needed, are reaching just to review that metadata that it collected. For example, even when we collect metadata, can be, I'm giving a health care example. When data is transferred to a metadata by us, we don't even maintain the logs or the file's name. If a file name can be a patient name and a first name and a last name, the metadata we connect doesn't even contain that at all.
Okay. I have another question from the audience. Do you integrate with MDM security like Lookout?
So at the moment, we don't have any type of those integration. We can work with them, but basically not an integration that is natively. We do have collecting with them by syslog or even to their centralized console or email the alerts. And MDM provides another coverage that it's a domain that we do not address at the moment.
Okay. I think the next question is actually the favorite of mine. How do we get a trial version of this solution?
Very simple. So of course, you have the amazing team at Sentia. Feel free to reach out to them. They'll be more than happy to schedule that for you. Have a trial. You can basically, we have a process of between a 14 to 28 days trial if needed. We have a very nice and defined POV process. Part of the trial, we cover many aspects such as fast and easy deployment, visibility, attack simulation, integration with other components on your network. And even we always encourage clients not only having the attack simulations by us, but even bring any attack simulations that there's many of those very open on the web they can find. Hit us as hard as they can so they can at the end of the day see that visibility, how the alert pops up, what they can learn and define from each alert, and what remediation was performed by the system. At the end of the day, there's a sticky cell sentence that the proof is in the pudding. We'll be more than happy to do so.
I believe those are the only questions we have so far. Thank you once again, Roy. Over to you, Sarah.
Sure.
Great. No, thank you, everybody. That was those were some excellent questions. And thank you, Andy and Roy, for a wonderful presentation. So as was reiterated many times already, our call to action is a much deeper dive of the demo that Roy presented today. There's a lot more intricacies with the platform that have yet to be shared. So definitely please reach out to Sentia and Cynet to schedule one of those. And as a thank you, the first 5 qualified requests for the demo will be awarded a special incentive on behalf of Sentia and Cynet. So that effectively concludes today's session today. On behalf of Andy, Roy, and myself, I'd like to thank you again for joining us, and a recorded version of the session will be sent out shortly afterwards. Thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone. Take care, stay safe.